Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us here today. Last week, I had the privilege of introducing Bill 69, the Golden Girls Act 2019, in the Ontario Legislature, and this afternoon, I'll have the chance to debate the bill with my colleagues on all sides of the chamber. I'm fortunate to be joined this morning by three of the Golden Girls of Port Perry, the group that the bill is named after. Next to me here, I have Martha Casson, and I also have Louise and Sandy joining me. And I'm also honored to have with us, we have representatives here of the Ontario Home Builders Association, as well as Elder Abuse Ontario, and CARP, the Canadian Association of Retired Persons. Thank you so much for joining us. Today, my goal in inviting you here is to explain what this bill is about and why I felt the need to introduce it in the legislature. So let me tell you the story of the Golden Girls of Port Perry. It's an important one. There were 4 senior women who decided they didn't want to live independently any longer, but didn't see themselves living in a traditional retirement home, condo, or apartment. They chose to renovate a home in downtown Port Perry to meet their needs as they aged. I had the privilege of meeting the Golden Girls of Port Perry and visiting their home for the first time in the fall. When I visited their home, I learned more about their story and some of the obstacles they had faced in making this housing model a reality. This bill, the Golden Girls Act 2019, comes out of the obstacles they faced. One of the obstacles they initially ran into was when first helping another group of seniors, actually, who were interested in sharing a home this way in their town. Their local municipal council in Scugog tried to use their bylaw making powers under the Planning Act to prevent this group of seniors from using a home in downtown Port Perry in this way. Now, when I tell people this story, they're shocked. There's a great need for more housing options for seniors that are affordable. Municipalities should not be trying to get in the way of seniors with innovative housing solutions. The motive of this bill is to bring clarity to local municipalities and make sure that a group of seniors seeking this innovative housing solution never have to face these obstacles again. Municipalities ought to know they cannot use their bylaw making powers in this way. They cannot use their bylaw making powers to prevent unrelated seniors from living together and sharing a home. This is a type of housing model that should be encouraged, not discouraged, by local municipalities. Seniors living together can reap significant financial, health, and social benefits. There's lots of evidence to show that activities that keep seniors from social isolation is good for their health. In fact, I believe it's Britain, I just learned this recently, has even appointed a minister of loneliness. Loneliness among seniors is, well, no laughing matter and far too common. And living together with other seniors is one of the ways to reduce that. This is also a style of housing that can be accessible to seniors of many different income levels. If part of the home, for example, is rented out or bedrooms of the home are rented out. Seniors are the fastest growing demographic, both in Durham region, the region I represent, and province-wide. This is a truly innovative solution, and it can be a housing solution for many seniors or people nearing their senior years. Many people do not like the traditional housing options they have and would much prefer to remain living in their own homes. This option allows them to live in a home without living alone. Seniors can have the social support of living with others and the option to share expenses and save money in the long run. This is a housing model that can reap significant, as I've said before, health, economic, and social benefits. However, as Martha has told me, other seniors have also faced similar obstacles in other municipalities. This is why I introduced the Golden Girls Act. I want to make it clear to municipalities and to all that not only is this form of housing allowed, but that it ought to be encouraged. Now, since introducing this bill in the legislature, I've been taken aback by the support. And many of you here, I know, have been strong supporters of it. I'm proud to announce this morning that the following organizations support this bill: the Ontario Home Builders Association, the Ontario Real Estate Association, the Registered Nurses Association of Ontario, CARP, the Canadian Association of Retired Peoples, the Ontario Personal Support Workers Association, and the Durham Real Estate Association. And last but not least, I'm also proud to announce the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, the Honourable Steve Clark, supports this bill, and I'm grateful for his support. Our government for the people wants to increase the housing options that seniors have, and one way we can do that is by eliminating the red tape and confusion that is currently discouraging the very solutions we need. That's my goal. I hope that by passing this bill, we're starting the conversation about the fundamental need in our province for more housing options that are affordable for more of our seniors, and talking about the innovative housing models that could be the solution. With that, I will pass it over to Ms. Martha Casson to share more of their story and the many benefits this housing model has meant for them. Again, thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning, and thank you to Lindsey for having us here today and for being a champion for seniors housing and for seniors issues. As Lindsey said, I am Martha Casson, and I am called by the Toronto Star one of the Golden Girls of Port Perry, and I am joined today by two of my housemates, fellow Golden Girls Louise Bardwich and Sandy McCulley. Our fourth housemate, Beverly Brown, happens to be in Florida, which is lovely for her on a cold day like this. And I'd like to introduce John Lusick, the builder of our home, and the builder who was the victim of the early confusion on the other home that Lindsey mentioned. I want to start by saying that today has been a long time in coming, and I hope to share some of the emotion and some of the frustration that we faced as we were really getting a community ready to support a home like ours. Today we live in a wonderful shared home ownership situation in Port Perry. We were supported all the way by the Council of the Day in 2015. The benefits to us and to our families and even to our government are multifold. We enjoy the social, financial, and safety benefits that Lindsey mentioned, and we have even built space into our home that will allow us to finance our own care as we age, hopefully right through to the end of our days. Our builder, John Lusick, applied for a building permit in November 2015, and after a complete renovation and a major addition, we moved in November 2016. That is supposed to be how this works, and it did for us this time. But in a previous situation, when that same builder sought approval for a similar home for seniors, he was denied a building permit. Because of our collective belief in this kind of affordable housing, we, along with John, challenged the staff and the Council of the Day. The attempts by the township to create new zoning bylaws to control that house were daunting. The arguments we were unable to understand the arguments, in fact. And to be clear, this didn't just happen in our community. Around the same time, it happened in two other communities as well. And so our worry is that the bill of the Planning Act is not specific enough so that municipalities in smaller towns and rural areas that might find that this is a new concept for them, they don't have anywhere to go where it's very clear that this is a desirable kind of accommodation and that it's perfectly legal to join. And the age of the original people seem to be one of the issues. And so that's why we're delighted to see the age issue in this amendment. The house at one point was referenced in a staff report as being like a small retirement facility, even though the owners would own it and live in it. And that brought up all kinds of restrictions about where the facility could be built, how it might operate, the need for extra parking requirements, landscaping, and many other things that were treating it as if it was not a single detached dwelling. We made 4 council deputations, and we hired a lawyer and a planning consultant or planner to give us advice. Our planner actually spoke at one of the deputations. Going forward, other seniors will not likely undertake such struggles to create a home like ours. That is what we want to see changed. Zoning bylaws should not be written to prevent seniors, or indeed anyone, from living cooperatively. Seniors such as us should not have to fight for months. The fight was 6 months long for the right to develop a shared ownership home. Many of we aging seniors do not like the current housing options we see. We don't want our assets to disappear into retirement homes. We don't necessarily want to live in a retirement home situation. And we certainly don't want, those of us who have children, to have our children have to take care of us, perhaps in their own homes, as we age. And also, no government can afford to build enough retirement or nursing homes to house us anyway. We are a large, large bubble, and there are too many of us. It is not going to happen, especially in smaller towns. There will not be private or government facilities for the seniors that live in those communities. So the amendment to this bill and the clarified wording are needed to spark a conversation and to clear the path for shared housing. And that is why we are thrilled to be here to support this bill and to thank Lindsey for igniting that spark. So thank you very much.